Hello, my name is Jamie Leather and I'm the Chief of the Transport Sector Group at the Asian Development Bank. Please allow me to share some information about the Asian Transport Outlook, or ATO as we call it. As a background to the ATO, it is a database of transport information that will allow us to understand the current status of transport across Asia and the Pacific. It will also look at some of the historical trends and how the future will develop in relation to the movement of people and goods across the region. The key objective of ATO is to ensure we make better informed decisions based on the most recent and up-to-date information and data. It will assist ADB in our policy dialogues with our client governments, and it will also allow us to measure and monitor how our transport assistance is working in terms of government's commitments to international agreements such as the Paris Agreement or the Sustainable Development Goals. The ATO combines transport data with transport policies. In terms of transport data, we cover all of the transport subsectors, and we look at infrastructure, we look at transport activity, and we look at the externalities, such as local emissions, global emissions, and road safety. On the policy side, we look at transport plans, we look at transport policies, and we also look at transport components in the broader policies and commitments governments have made. The ATO data is from secondary sources, but also some primary sources, and it is open access, so all are able to use it. The ATO provides information on over 400 transport-related indicators and covers 51 economies across the Asia and the Pacific region. In May of this year, 2021, we released our second shareable database, and we hope to release an updated version in either August or September of this year. The database is available on the ADB website, adb.org, and also on our partner development for this, Slowcat, at slowcat.net/ATO. We are currently developing a policy workbook, and we are in the process of incorporating over 400 policy documents into that workbook. As urban transport is a big issue across the region, we are also preparing a specific urban transport database, which will look at the urban-related information, the policies, and some of the trends that are emerging in urban transport. The ADB sees the ATO as a multi-year program, and we welcome the work and support of our donor partners and other think tanks and other institutions in this endeavour. If you are interested to work with us on the ATO, please get in contact. The ATO can be used in a number of different ways. At its simplest level, you could take an indicator, say, on infrastructure and look at how one country compares to its neighbours or those at a similar level of economic development. More complex analysis can be made when combining several indicators and seeing how they trade off against each other, or the trends that are being developed within the various transport indicators, both on the infrastructure, at the usage of that infrastructure, as well as the emissions associated with that infrastructure. And on that, it allows us to measure the progress against regional or global systems such as the SDGs or the Paris Agreement. One example will be the use of ATO to monitor the performance against the Declaration on Sustainable Transport in Asia, and we're working very closely with our development partner, the UNCRD, in the use of ATO in monitoring and measuring against that new declaration out to 2030. The ATO can be used by governments to assess their national transport policies or their transport development goals and objectives. Within ADB, we will use the ATO at the project level, at the programmatic level, but also in our policy dialogue with governments to assist them realise their objectives in terms of the development of a more sustainable transport future and mobility for all.